Hey, Mike, why do Canadians like to do it doggy style?
So we can still both order in the Tim Hortons drive-through. Producer! Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast with Biggs and Schultze.
Hey,
Mike Greinberg is on assignment. Hey, Schultze, you know what's delicious?
what's that?
Polar Seltzer, cranberry lime flavor. Not a sponsor, but hey, reach out.
I don't know if we're going in there. I've been drinking those Waterloos. Those things are pretty damn tasty.
Wait till the next episode. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the Fantasy Forecast with Greinberg and Biggs. It's Biggs and Schultze this week. I am getting over COVID. That's why I was not with you last week. I'm still pretty fuzzy, to be honest. But Mike is on vacation, and so Schultze is sitting in once again. So that'll make
He's
6 straight
assignment.
episodes for Schultze, which is fantastic. He's on assignment. Today we are talking about avoids, but this time we're going to be doing it based on ESPN ADPs, which is my specialty. Mike is the one that does the Yahoo half PPR leagues. I do the full PPR leagues. While you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified whenever a new episode drops. Beastie Boys. And go over to FSAN and create an account. Get into our listener leagues. We got jersey leagues, win an autographed jersey, all that stuff. Fantasy Football Advice Network on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network of networks. And you can interact with Schultze and I. We try and post polls every day. We do Q&As. It's a wonderful social environment. You can skip Twitter and Discord and all that stuff and find everything in one place.
All fantasy. All
so yeah, you want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Yes, that's what it is. I'm not even going to say anything. You want to go ahead and start? I usually start, but you can do that if you want.
No, man, this is all you.
Or are you just?
I'm just here for
okay.
the ride.
We're talking about players to avoid in early rounds, middle rounds, late rounds. Not the targets. We're talking about the avoids. And my first early round avoid is Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. Now, I'm not saying don't draft him. He's not on my do not draft list. He has been dealing with an injury before the season starts, but Easton Stick is not the answer. Justin Herbert is going to take the reins. I've talked before about Ladd McConkey's upside. Justin Herbert has a huge arm. He can make throws anywhere on the field. And Greg Roman is not the rumors of Greg Roman wanting to run the ball too much are greatly exaggerated. He has supported an MVP quarterback before. He has supported a 140 target wide receiver before. Justin Herbert will be right there, even if his number of attempts goes down from 600, 650 to 500. He's still going to make the throws. He's still got Ladd and Josh Palmer. He's going to be fine. However, don't take him too early is what I'm saying. He went in round 14 in my last ESPN draft. That is absolutely mwah. That is Justin Herbert as your QB2. Take a running quarterback around round 9, round 10, and then Herbert backing it up at the very end of the draft. That's perfection. My next one is to avoid in the middle round is Aaron Rodgers, who for some reason is going higher than Justin Herbert. Aaron Rodgers may be on my do not draft list. Now, there's no such thing as don't draft. There's only don't draft at cost. I feel like Aaron Rodgers' cost is too prohibitive. There's no way of telling how he's going to come back from his Achilles injury. And he really only has one, well, if you count Breece Hall, 2 legitimate passing targets in that Jets offense. Mike Williams ain't it. I like Tyler Conklin as a sleeper, but he's not going to carry tight end 1 upside. Rodgers doesn't have the weapons in his knife bag that wait, those aren't weapons. He doesn't have the weapons in his kit that he did in Green Bay. And you know, you could argue that last year he would have been a better situation for him. So do not draft him in the middle rounds. Draft him late. That's fine. Again, if he's there in the 14th or 15th and you're drafting him as your QB2 to like maybe do it, then yeah, that's absolutely perfect. What are your thoughts, Schultzy?
Big agreements on both of these guys here. Herbert, yeah, I think I still like him this year. I think he's getting downplayed too much. But yeah, I'm still not drafting him as a QB1. I'm looking for some rushing upside as a QB1, unless your name is Patrick Mahomes. And he makes a great QB2. The offense is like Josh Palmer's going to be solid. He's got Ladd coming in, and I think scheme wise, it's going to be a good run game to build off some play action stuff. And I don't think the defense is going to be top notch. So like this is probably going to be a struggling team with some passing game scripts. So yeah, Herbert as a QB2, give me that. And I'm pretty much on board with you on Rodgers. Like I don't see a situation where I'm drafting him because someone else is going to draft him before I'm willing to draft him for a lot of the same reasons. Achilles, age, he's going to have no like movement back there anymore. Yeah, I'm not in on Rodgers for a guy like him. Some people are drafting him into that fringe QB1, 2 area, and I just don't see it.
The other thing about Herbert, and so I will advocate now for drafting Herbert before Aaron Rodgers. You mentioned rushing upside, and so yeah, so I'm targeting Jaden Daniels earlier. I'm targeting Bryce Young a little bit earlier, but imagine this scenario. How do the Canadians say it? Scenario. Imagine this: Greg Roman, who formerly was the offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson, recognizes Justin Herbert's RPO potential, which he showcased at the University of Oregon, and suddenly Justin Herbert is running a little bit more than he has in the past. Oh my God, huge value. So grab him, but I mean, he's dropping to the 14th. Don't take him too early.
That's a good call on the RPO stuff, because even if like I mentioned, with the run game's going to be improved, you slip in a couple of those RPOs a game with Herbert. He takes 2-3 of them a game, and that's potentially a couple points.
That's what happens when you use your imagination.
Ooh, imagination.
All right. So I think you all know this next one is coming if you've watched the show before, but my late round absolute avoid is Will Levis of the Tennessee Titans. He's just not it, folks. He's got some weapons. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. He's got Calvin Ridley, who, spoiler alert, we'll talk about in the next episode. And Tony Pollard is there. Spoiler alert, we'll talk about him in episode 3. And he's got Treylon Burks, who is I'm a Treylon Burks stan. But he's just not accurate enough. I like it when he runs the football because he looked like former Razorback Peyton Hillis. He likes to run downhill and absolutely like take it to people. But that's not going to get him very far in the National Football League when he starts getting banged up, and his accuracy is just not there. Who knows? He could surprise me, but I am not willing to take the chance on that. I'd much rather have guys that we've talked about. Aaron Rodgers, who has the history. Justin Herbert, who has imagination on his side. Bryce Young with Dave Canales. Will Levis's ceiling is around QB 20. Would I rather take Gardner Minshew? I don't know. I think they're pretty equal in value. So if you wouldn't draft Gardner Minshew, why would you draft Will Levis? That's a question for the ages, right? Take Derek Carr. Spoiler alert: he's going to have a huge season with Clint Kubiak. There are at least 15 to 20 quarterbacks that I would draft before Will Levis. So don't even take him in the late rounds. In the late rounds, what we're doing is we are focusing on our defense and our kicker because ESPN makes you take those positions. So defense, kicker, and tight end. If you have pulled the trigger on tight end earlier, then you're taking a high upside, possible 90 catch, possible 10 touchdown tight end in your last round 14, 15, 16. You're also taking the Raiders defense, and you're also taking Cairo Santos. So Cairo Santos finished as kicker 3 last year, and who cares about dropping him to stream for a better kicker? Because you can do that, even though ESPN forces you to take him, as well as the Raiders defense. They were the number 1 defense from week 8 to 18 last season. They finished in the top. I think they were defense 7 overall, but they really came on strong in the second half. They added Christian Wilkins. So that's what your last 3 rounds are for. And when we're talking about late rounds, we're talking about the last basically 5 or 6 rounds in fantasy. You should have your quarterbacks by then. At that point, you're taking handcuffs, you're taking sleeper wide receivers, guys like Jalen McMillan and Luke McCaffrey. We just got news today. Jahan Dotson out in Washington. He's on his way to Philadelphia. That means Luke McCaffrey, Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott. Those are 2 pass catchers for a prolific arm like Jaden Daniels to throw the ball to behind Terry McLaurin. Those are the kinds of guys that we're taking instead of a Will Levis. And then your kicker and your defense. So we are avoiding Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, and Will Levis at cost.
I'm not as out on Levis as you, but I am a little bit out. I think the thing he's got going for him is just going to be volume. Once again, on a not great team. So I think you're going to get a handful of spike weeks out of Levis just from garbage time and stuff. But I like him. I'll pick him in best ball, but I'm avoiding in redraft.
I mean, I talked about it before. He finished outside of the top 30 last year, although he didn't play the entire season. But even if you get him a full half a season extra of fantasy points, he clocks in at quarterback 21 or 22. If you're taking quarterback or 21 or 22 in the draft and not streaming for matchups, you're going to lose your league. So
it's true.
Hey, ready to level up your fantasy sports game? Join the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, your go-to for top-notch fantasy and sports gaming insights. Skip the noise of Twitter and Reddit. Enjoy genuine sports talk without bots and ads. Dive into high-quality discussions and elevate your fantasy experience. We cover all of your favorite sports from football to basketball and beyond. That means baseball. Whether you're a diehard fan or a casual player, there's something here for you. Explore our polls. That sounded wrong. League classifieds and curated content from our creators. We've got articles, we got videos, we got podcasts, and they're all in one place. Get expert advice, earn rewards, make an impact with your sports knowledge. Join our passionate community and unlock your fantasy sports potential. Visit the Fantasy Sports Advice Network and download our app to start winning. And yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about today?
No, we're so close to football, man. I'm so happy.
We got Colts and Bengals. Is it Colts and Bengals? Colts and Bengals tonight? Yeah,
Colts and Bengals. Yeah, because Bengals defense is talking the smack on AR this week, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, no.
Did you see that?
And no, I haven't yet.
Oh, dude, Bengals defense, I guess, was going ham on him in joint practices, like players yelling out, he's not throwing to receivers, he's only throwing to spots. This guy only knows how to run. Like, they were going in on him in joint practices. Wow. Apparently, the first team offense was pretty rough.
Well, do your worst, Shane Steichen.
Right.
Can't wait to see that game, and you won't have seen this, but we will be live after the game to cover everything, and live every Thursday night after the game. So make sure that you are subscribed and liked and hit the bell and ready. And we'll be back next episode with our wide receiver avoids early, middle, and late rounds.
We hope you win.
That about it? Cover it?
Yeah.
We hope you win.